In an earlier lesson in this chapter, we discussed how and why we might want to include an Excel spreadsheet in a Word document. Worksheets are powerful tools, but sometimes too much data can be confusing and hard to understand. We know from Excel training that sometimes we need to summarize and visually represent numerical data in something like a chart to help our audience understand it better. It makes sense then that if we might want to use a spreadsheet in our Word documents, we also might want to use a chart. We will not be going into a lot of detail here because in Office 2010, when we work with charts in any of our applications, we're using Excel. If you want to know all of the details of charting, I recommend our Excel 2010 Essentials series. For now, let's just learn how to add Excel charts to Word documents, change the type of chart, and apply a chart style. Some basics, but remember, for more details, please refer to the Excel series itself. Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to find a place that a chart may be appropriate. And I think I know of one. Let's go ahead and press Control-End to move to the end of our document. And then let's scroll up just a little bit, above the point where we were talking about our budget. Just above that, yes, we do have one of my wonderful placeholders that says Chart, so that lets us know this is where we want to be. And we're not going to recreate all of this data, but this is an example of data that would better be used in a chart. We have a variety of years and income that we received from instructor-led training, virtual training, and CBT training. Let's go ahead and insert a chart. And I want to keep this data just for our reference, so let's press Enter and move up. Now, if I say we want to insert a chart, can you guess where we're going to go? You probably can, because this is what we all know about Office. It's now very logical and very intuitive. We'll go to the Insert tab and choose Chart from the Illustration section, which is about the middle of the ribbon. The first thing it asks is, what kind of chart do you think you want? Now, of course, you want to make the best choice, but this isn't an end-all decision. We can always change the chart type later. So for now, let's just stick with the default, which is a column chart. All we need to do is click OK. At this point, an Excel window is going to open. And notice the title bar says Chart in Microsoft Word. So this isn't the same as just opening Excel on your own. It also, by default, gives us some default data to work with. Series 123, Category 1234. Well, that's not very exciting. And again, we're not going to spend a lot of time typing here, but I just want to show you the basics. Let's enter 2002 and 2011. Then instead of Category 1, Category 2, we can use our arrow keys to move over, and we can do ILT, Virtual, and CBT. Now the rest of this really is kind of Excel-ish, where we can go in, we can delete the contents, we can delete rows and columns. What I want to show you here is that there is this outline, and that's what determines what's going to be used in your chart. So let's go ahead and modify that. If we move to the bottom corner, we should be able to grab a hold of it and adjust the size. Let me make sure I can grab a hold of what I'm looking for with the diagonal arrow. And we want to bring it both in and up. Now, of course, naturally, I would want to clean that up because I don't like leaving extra stuff. But this is just to show you, you can only use certain parts of a worksheet. You don't have to do the whole thing. Again, we're not going to put in even real numbers. We'll leave these as they are. But with what you now know, we can either leave this open or we can simply close this Excel window. That brings us back into Word, and here we have our chart. Literally, it was that simple. Now, just like we worked with some of the other objects, we can click on this and work with it as an object itself. We also could double-click on it to bring back the Excel window. Just a couple of things that we want to do. The first is that charts have styles just like everything else, so we can use the Style Gallery. We also can change the chart type. Now, when we have a chart selected, there are 3 contextual tabs: Design, Layout, and Format. From the Design tab, we can move all the way to the left, and we can change the chart type. So if we decided we didn't want a column chart, we could maybe make a pie chart. And we can look at all of the different options that we have for pie charts, or we could choose a different type. Maybe I'm interested more in donuts today than I am in pies. Let's select a donut chart, just give it a double click, and now we're seeing the information organized that way. So again, there are an awful lot of options that we have with charting, but now you know how you can insert them, add some data using an Excel spreadsheet, and then continue to use the Excel features to modify the formatting as well as the chart type itself. In addition to double-clicking, let me just remind you that you can also click the Edit Data button that will bring back the Excel worksheet. Since at this point in our training, we're not trying to overwhelm you with features, but remind you of the commonalities, remember that just like we could insert existing spreadsheet data using our Object command from the Home tab, we can do the same thing here. By choosing Insert Object from File, we can choose to use an existing chart that's already in Excel. So either way you work with it, it's still going to be okay. The important thing to know is that yes, there are a lot of fun and useful things that we can do with charts. That's why we have the full Excel course, or at least a chapter in that series on charting. For now, though, we know what we need to know, which is that we can easily summarize numeric data visually in Word to enhance our audience's understanding and add impact